We're going to start with the most basic question. Should founders bootstrap or fundraise?
Yeah.
And what should a founder consider when making that decision?
Great. So should they bootstrap or fundraise? Demont, you have to deal with this all the time because you're our front line when we're making that first 100K check in the Launch Accelerator. Walk people through the thinking here. Should you bootstrap or should you fundraise?
Sure. I think the first thing that founders should realize is that fundraising is a path for very few startups, for very few companies in general.
Okay.
Most businesses in life are, quote unquote, bootstrap. They're lifestyle businesses and lifestyle not in a negative way, but they're just businesses that don't require fundraising and aren't businesses that kind of follow that fundraising path. And so I think what interesting question that we often hear VCs say is they'll ask a founder, is this a venture scale business? Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious, as someone that's been in this a long time, how do you define what a venture scale business is when
Sure.
a VC or a founder asks that?
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of negativity around the word lifestyle business.
Sure.
And we should pause for a second and just explain what an investor means when they say lifestyle business. They mean this business, if it succeeds, or if it's already succeeding, is going to provide, let's say the two of you had a business, a great lifestyle for the two of you. It might make $5 million a year, have a 20% margin, and throw off $1 million a year. But that business, that $5 million, if it grows 10% year over year in 10 years, okay, yeah, maybe it's doing 12 or 15 million, and maybe it makes $2 or $3 million in profits. Well, that makes it a $20 or $30 million enterprise value, which for an investor means if they invested in your company at 7 million, maybe they're going to triple their money. That's not what venture capital is for. Venture capitalists are trying to 20, 30, 40, 50x their investment. And angel investors, we're trying to 100x. Mm-hmm. So venture scale, in my mind, in 2019 means $100 million in revenue with great margins, maybe 30, 40, 50% gross margins. That means the margins after you take out the cost of providing it. Now, software can even be higher than that, right? 80 or 90%. So that is the key. And most people will give us projections. We see this all the time, where in 5 years, they grow the business from $300,000 in revenue in 2019. And then in 5 years, in 2024, they're going to be at
$5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is a huge success.
It's like unbelievable. I grew, I
10x.
grew 10x.
And it's not what a venture capital would
So
get
what
out
do you
of business.
think? What do you think the time frame is? So what if I'm thinking about how fast can I grow to
7 years, 10 years, a venture capital firm would like to see an exit in 6, 7, 8 years. That's good for them. And the fund lifetime is usually 10 years. So on the outside, 10, 12 years, and in a best case scenario, 5 or 6 years to hit 50 million, 75 million, 100 million in revenue.